Naša sljedeća sagovornica je Chiara sa Univerziteta u Padovi. Radi se o državnom univerzitetu, istraživačkom univerzitetu koji ima dugu tradiciju čak preko 800 godina. To zaista dosta govori o reputaciji koju ima ovaj univerzitet i o tome koliko nam je drago što imamo tu čast da ugostimo i jednu instituciju kao što je Padova univerzitet. Chiara, hello.
Hello. Hi. Buongiorno. Very well, thank you. Molto
okay,
bene.
Nice to hear that. Molto bene. I just said one sentence about Padua University. Actually, the most important thing, maybe the first one that we should hear, it's your long tradition, and it's about 800 years that Padua University offers excellence research education. Maybe that would be the best start of your presentation, and I will give you a word and welcome you on our Study in Italy fair.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for inviting us, of course, and we are really happy to be here and, of course, meeting all the students. And yeah, as you said, I think I will start the presentation from, our age, nearly, it's nearly our 800th birthday. So yeah.
Just let me know if you are able to share your presentation.
Yeah, of course. I will
just to make sure that everything goes well.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think we are done. Can you see the presentation?
Yeah, I can see it. Great.
Cool. Okay, so I think I will start from here. So thank you so much again. Okay, so now that we started with the 800 years of academic excellence, I would like to spend a few more words about us. So the University of Padua is actually a leading university for research, and we were awarded as the best university in Italy for teaching and research quality. We have a multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary approach. And as we will see in a while, we have a very broad range portfolio of programs. Still in terms of quality, we are ranked in the top 250 universities in the world. And here you can see the major international rankings really testify these. So starting from maybe taking a step back and starting from our location. So as you can guess from our name, we are based in Padua, so just right at the center of this map, and more specifically in the northeast of Italy, as you can see from this map. So Padua is a student-centered town, and I would say is a medium-sized city for Italian standards. So it's not a metropolis, of course, but it's not a small village. So you can really appreciate a very high quality of life. In Padua, we can count roughly 1/3 of the entire population is actually made of students. And this makes, of course, the city quite vibrant and dynamic. So focusing still on the influence and the connection between the university and the city of Padua, as you can see here, this is the city center, and all the red spots are actually university buildings. So I think it's a very visual, straightforward example of the fact that we are not an American campus, let's say. We don't have a campus in the American way, but the city itself is our campus. So the reason behind this distribution of the university is also our age, as we started saying at the very beginning. So as we are pretty old, the university grew together with the city and vice versa. So that's why there is this distribution of the university buildings. And another thing I want to underline is this bicycle here. It's not a random symbol which we put in the slide, but it's first of all, it's the most common means of transport for students, of course, because it's cheap and you don't get killed by traffic in Padua. So it's also like a safe and eco-friendly means of transport here. And it's definitely a good sign of how the how the atmosphere of the city is. And still talking about the atmosphere, I would like to bring you with me on a virtual city tour. So starting from these, pictures of the main square of Padua. And as you can see here, it's really like a typical Italian city where you can enjoy the typical Italian lifestyle again. So, Italian food, Italian culture, and so on. This is one of our gems, I would say. It's the Botanical Garden, and it's the first university botanical garden in the world. So again, it's a university building, and it's where it's actually free for students. So it's actually an open air study room, and as you can see, it's a UNESCO monument as well. So this is just to make you feel already at home in Padua, and maybe picturing yourself wandering in the city center. And this is actually the Beau Palace, which is the headquarters of the university. So we can say it's where it all started for us. So with this picture in the background of the Great Hall, I would like to once again underline our strong bond with history, tradition, but also innovation. Because as I said at the beginning of the presentation, we are a research intensive university. So we always have this push towards, innovation and I would say improvement of society and culture and science. So this is really like the core values like for us. And it's been like this for nearly 8 centuries because we were actually founded in 1222. So I don't want to bore you with the history, but I would like to give at least a couple of not fun facts but curiosities about our history. So first of all, we are considered as the birthplace of modern medicine. So with these guys here, William Harvey and Andreas Vesalius, father of modern anatomy and actually discoverer of the blood circulation system, who were professors here in Padua. And what you see in the background is the anatomical theater. It's probably one of the first structures who was put in a university to have dissection, so live medical lessons, let's say. And again, still looking at our history, these two guys, fathers of scientific revolutions, were actually one of the, two of the, best professors that, we can, underline for scientific, innovation. So Galileo Galilei and Nicolaus Copernicus. I know we're talking about, long ago, but still, again, in terms of other curiosities, here is Elena Lucrezia Cornaro Piscopia, who's actually the first woman who ever graduated in the world and who was a student here in Padua. I don't want to bore you with still historical facts, but I thought it was just important to mention some elements from our long academic excellence. And so now moving to nowadays, so how do we look like? First of all, we are a big university. As you can see from these numbers, we have over 60,000 students, and so the community of students is pretty important. And among them, there is an increasing number of international students. Other full-time students, so coming here for a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, or coming here through mobility programs. And of course, Erasmus is just one of them. So in terms of academic offer and academic organization, we have 32 departments and 8 schools. So I'm just going to mention and show you some of them, but I'm going to focus on the academic offer in a second. So still continuing our virtual tour around the campus in this sense. So here is the School of Humanities, the School of Agricultural and Veterinary Sciences, the School of Medicine, the School of Psychology. But this is just, to name a few. In fact, in terms of academic offer, we really, I would say, cover almost every field of study. We have about 188 programs, both at bachelor and master's level. So altogether in Italian and English. But I just want to focus on the English taught academic offer. Of course, you will see on our website like the full list of programs. But here I'm, underlining the 45 degree programs held in English. So 5 of them are at bachelor level, and they are animal care, 2 programs in psychology, so psychological science and techniques and methods in psychological science, 1 program, which is actually new entry in information engineering, and 1 other program in Italian medieval and Renaissance studies, which is a combined program because it will have some, courses in English and some other courses in Italian. But you can actually learn Italian, through your studies as well. Then another program in English, entirely in English, is medicine and surgery. And as you may know, it's a single cycle degree because, it's a 6 years long program. So it's not, I would say, in between a bachelor and a master at the same time. And, guessing from these numbers, the majority of our English taught programs is at master level. So here, I won't, of course, name all of them, but you can see that we have several programs in the School of Agricultural Sciences and Veterinary Medicine, in the School of Economics and Political Sciences, then 3 master's programs in the School of Psychology, which are quite popular, I would say, then some programs with some new entries as well in the School of Humanities. And for example, another quite popular one is actually English Studies. And then moving on, let's say more into more scientific subjects, we have a long list of programs in the School of Engineering, in the School of Science, and 2 programs in the School of Medicine, so with medical and pharmaceutical biotechnologies. So the list is quite long and we don't have time to go through all of them right now. But of course, all these are available on our website, on the application platform, and of course at our booth during the fair. So you should be able also to download the, some brochures and like a general brochure with the academic offer included. So this, of course, is the English taught offer. Plus, I just want to remind you the 150 bachelor's and master's degree programs held in Italian. So, considering the more practical aspects, so the application process, it's quite difficult now to give you a deeper overview on the single programs. But as a general thing, we have an application platform, which is apply.unipd.it, and it's where, let's say, all the applications start, let's say. And in terms of deadlines, so there is, for the majority of our English taught programs, we have 2 calls. One is closing on Tuesday, so on the 2nd of February, but there should be a second call starting from the 2nd of March and closing on the 2nd of June for non-EU citizens. So there is some other programs, and more specifically, I'm talking about the programs in psychology and the programs in biotechnologies, which have a different timing in the application process. And so the deadline would be, so applications are currently open and the deadline would be the 7th of March. So just to make sure that you know exactly what is the deadline and the application timing for the program you're interested in, go on the application platform, so on apply.unipd.it, and if you browse the programs, you will have the deadline just in front of you. So in terms of, again, application process, a big question for you would be definitely the admission requirements. So the entry requirements vary from program to program, but just to make sure that you have at least a clear picture on them, for bachelor's and single cycle degree programs, let's say held in English, so I'm just focusing on this column here, we have the first requirement would be 12 years of prior education, so like a secondary high school diploma obtained after 12 years of education. Then we will need some language proof of your English in this case. So you will need to provide, in most cases, like an English language certificate at B2 level. And at bachelor level or for single cycle degree programs, there's usually an entry test, which is different, of course, depending on the program. So, for example, for those of you who are interested in the bachelor's degree in psychological science, as you can see, the SAT is not mandatory anymore. Luckily, it's not mandatory anymore, but it's recommended. So it would give you the priority, let's say, in the ranking, but it's not compulsory anymore. Then regarding medicine and surgery, I'm going to talk about it in a second. And for those of you who are interested in studying Italian taught programs, the entry test would be for most of our Italian taught programs, the TOLC, which is also available online. And again, in terms of language requirements, you will need to either provide an Italian certificate at B2 level, or sit an Italian language test at the beginning of the academic year. So this is at bachelor level, but what about masters? Again, we have the exactly same language requirements. And in terms of entry requirements, there's usually no test at master level, but you need to provide a relevant bachelor's degree. So there should be some sort of continuity, let's say, between your bachelor and your master studies. So let's say if you studied biology in your bachelor, is very unlikely that you would be eligible for mechanical engineering master's degree. Okay, so there should be some sort of coherent path. Or some other programs may require some specific minimum curricular requirements, so a specific knowledge of certain subjects. And the only exception here at master level is our 3 programs in the School of Economics. So I'm referring to the program in Business Administration, Economics and Finance, and Entrepreneurship and Innovation, which require the GMAT test. So that's really an overview, but my suggestion again would be to check on the application platform just to make sure that you have like the list of requirements in front of you. And then we mentioned medicine and surgery, and I think it's quite important to know that the application process in this case is not managed by the single university, but it's managed at national level. So it's let's say the timing is set by the ministry itself. So we the application process is on Universally, so it's a different platform, of course, and the application timing is June, July. We are expecting the same dates this year. The test is usually held in September, and the type of test is the IMAT for the English taught program, and you can actually sit this test in any accredited center, or the national test for the Italian taught program. And if you're selecting Padua, if you're choosing Padua, you need to come to Padua to sit the test. So this is really like a quick overview on the academic offer and application process. So just to have the academic year as clear in our minds as possible. So we divide the academic year in 2 semesters. So lessons start in October for all programs. You will have classes until January, then an exam session. And then again, during the second semester, lessons will start in March till June, and then you will have another exam session from, let's say, June till July. So This is, just to wrap up regarding the academic offer and the application process. Now, thinking, of course, about your possible experience here in Padua, of course, you would consider budget. And I know that, this morning, you probably attended like the great presentation from the academic about, scholarship schemes and funding opportunities in Italy. So I will be quite quick on this point. And I would just mention that we are a public university. So we literally balance our tuition fees according to your family income. So that's the first step to know. So what we suggest every student is to apply for the so-called ISE. You will hear about this a lot, which is an index. I would say that we can consider as a picture of your financial standing. So according to that number, which is calculated based on a long list of documents related to your financial situation, goods, assets, properties, and so on. So coming from that index, we personalize the tuition fees. So what you see here is actually the maximum amounts that you could pay per year, but it's very unlikely that you pay the maximum fee, to be honest. So for the English top program, the maximum fee would be 2,600 euros per year. The payment is divided into 3 installments. And as you can see, the first installment is 188 euros, which is actually the admission fee. So let's say you are selected, you are offered a place in one of our programs, then you should pay this fee to secure your place and to confirm that you want to enroll at our university. So given that, the second and third installment have a variable amount and they're due next year, so in February and May 2022. So this is really the standard procedure. But what about funding schemes? Of course, we offer different funding opportunities, and they could be based on merit or family income. So in this sense, as we talked about 2 calls for application, so how should I apply to a scholarship? Like, how does it work? So let's say you're applying to the first call for application of an English taught program as an international student. The great advantage of applying during the first call is that you will be automatically part of the selection process. So you will be automatically considered with no separate application, no extra documents whatsoever. So just for the fact that you're applying to an English taught program, you will be considered in the selection process of, and I'm referring to the Padua International Excellence Scholarship, the Department Scholarship, and the 100 full tuition fee waivers that the university itself funds. So what, worst case scenario, what if you're not selected, let's say, for this merit-based scholarship? You can always decide to apply for merit-based scholarship funded by external institutions, like the one for the offered by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or Invest Your Talent. There is a long list, so I would highly recommend to check on the website. Or again, plan B is always the income-based scholarship, which is the Veneto Region Scholarship. In that case, as you may guess from the fact that it's income-based, you would need to provide some specific documents. So we have a separate application for these scholarships, which always, usually opens in June, July every year. So you have plenty of time anyway to collect the documents and to apply for it. So as we care, of course, about the funding and the budget and of our students, we have a career service office, which is dedicated to students and in particular to find the most suitable opportunities, job opportunities and internship opportunities, which are, of course, off campus or on campus in terms of job opportunities. So off campus, of course, I just want to underline the fact that even as a non-EU student with a study visa and a valid residence permit, you are actually allowed to work part-time. And in that sense, not just the career office would be helpful, but of course the department. So your professors would be a great point of contact for, let's say, your job opportunities. In terms of on-campus jobs, as you can see here, you could either become a tutor for other students, or you can start your student collaborations within different university offices like, computer labs, libraries, or the International Admission Office. So given these, of course, you can actually think about being a student at the University of Padua and being actually independent, even to cover the living costs that you would have here, well, hopefully on campus, if the situation will just improve. So just to give you an idea, Padua is a quite affordable city, especially compared to the major Italian cities. It's quite affordable with an average living cost around 600, 700 euros per month. So including accommodation, grocery shopping, and some personal extras. So I think we might have some minutes to talk about other services that we have at the university. I don't know if it's the case to take maybe some questions. Otherwise, I will just keep to a quick overview on our services.
Sorry, Chiara, we do have questions, but I will let you finish your presentation. I believe we will manage to answer everything.
Okay, that's great. So I will just show you a couple of slides in terms of main services that we offer. So let's, assuming that you are now a student at the University of Padua, the first big challenge I would say would be housing. And of course, we have a brand new housing office, which is actually dedicated to international students. And in terms of opportunities here in Padua, as you can see, we have partnerships with the main public and private dorms in the city center, even though the majority of students actually prefers, let's say, to go through the private markets, maybe sharing a flat with other students. So I would say that's the most common option for our students. So moving to other, welcome services that I think is worth to mention. I think it's very important to let you know that once you become a student here, you are not absolutely left alone. So first of all, you will, as an international student, you will be assigned a buddy, so a senior university student who will welcome you and support you, especially during the first weeks in going through maybe bureaucracy, but also like everyday life, I would say. So it's nice to have like a person of almost your age supporting you and giving you some tips even on how to, or maybe just exchange his or her experience as a student. And of course, even during the one-to-one meetings, a lot of you were asking me, so what if I'm studying in English, but then do I have any chance to learn Italian? And yes, the answer is actually, we are really proud to have like an intensive and to offer to our international students an intensive Italian language course, which is free of charge and starts actually at the beginning of the academic year. So that's something that, I think it's quite nice to know. And of course, still in terms of support, there is several offices dedicated to anything you may think of. So starting from the immigration related procedures, so with visa, residence permit, health insurance, but then going to more specific maybe needs that you may have. So for, with the psychological assistance service, the inclusion office for students with disabilities and specific learning disabilities, and even, dedicated offices for maybe other exchange opportunities that you may wish to learn about. So I would say we are really at the end of our presentation. So I would just show you other, that we are not considering, our students just as a study machine. So having, the as the only objective just to, accomplishing their degree. But of course, we consider you, especially international students coming here, as people who are experiencing life-changing experience, really. So even in terms of living, in a different country, of course, you would have plenty of possibilities to, improve your languages, for example, for the University Language Center, or still continuing your, sport activities through, for example, the two sport facilities and the different teams that we have at the university. And of course, even gathering with other students through the different students associations that we have here. So it's just, we're just on time to give you our context. So final, remarks. So please follow us on the main social medias. And of course, if you have other questions or curiosities, feel free to address us any questions through our email address. So email international.admission@unipd.it. So you're
Thank
just
you
in
too.
time. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
just in time. However, we have one very interesting question, I should say, and it's regarding your accommodation options. The question
Mhm.
is, do you have any solutions for those of us with pets? Can we as well live within the campus, or must we find our own living space?
Okay, that's very interesting, of course. But I would say there is always an option, because of course we have different, I would say, facilities, including students' flats in the public dorms. So there's always a solution there, and I'm sure that even the housing office will be able to find the most suitable place for you. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. We are at the end of your presentation, but I have to remind that our students who are interested in studying, for example, psychology or medicine, that they should definitely consider Padua University, as well for other programs in engineering, international studies, humanities, etc. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much for having us, and I will wait for more students at the booth. And again, thank you so much
Okay,
for your work.
great, great. Have a nice day.
You
Bye
too.
bye.
Bye.